Welcome back to LGE people, and today we are going to talk about the long-awaited Ghost of Tsushima, out now for PlayStation 4. But before we get started, I need to remind you, hit that like, subscribe button, and bell notification so you get updated on our most recent content, and we thank you for clicking our video. Now, let's get started. Ghost of Tsushima was announced literally 5 years ago by Sucker Punch Productions, who's responsible for famous games that you might know, like Sly Cooper for the PlayStation 2, as well as other ports, and Infamous and Infamous Second Son. Later, Sucker Punch decided to take a slightly different approach and make an open world game that actually has some historic background to it. Ghost of Tsushima takes place in about 1247 or the 1200s during feudal Japan, and where the Mongols invaded Japan. Contrary to popular belief, a lot say that it was the Mongol Empire who dominated more of the planet than the Roman Empire, if only for a brief period. Now, why should you be playing Ghost of Tsushima? Well, so far, after playing it, the game is fantastic. It was definitely worth the hype. The game itself is visually stunning. Like, everywhere you go, it's just so nice to look at where you're at. So I'm going to use Sekiro as a comparison because it came out first, and when a lot of us thought Ghost of Tsushima was going to come out first. Sekiro, great game. However, Sekiro focus is heavy on the combat. Yes, the story as well, but mainly the combat, as well as the fact that by default it's hard mode. Also too, Sekiro's mechanics for a melee-based game were great. Okay? Now, Ghost of Tsushima, aside from the fact that it's an open world game, you can actually explore a lot of the area, enjoy yourself, really take it all in, compared to Sekiro, where the moment you started up the game, literally everything was trying to attack you and kill you. The combat for Ghost of Tsushima is actually pretty solid, just like Sekiro was. But the difference is there's no lock-on system. At first, that takes a bit of getting used to, but according to the developers, they said, if we had a lock-on system, then how are you going to deal with all the enemies converging on you? Because unlike Sekiro and other games, there's a horde mentality that goes on when you take on enemies, that they'll jump you and start taking jabs at you one by one or in a possible group. Sekiro tends to feed enemies to you one by one, or at least have them manageable. Ghost of Tsushima, on the other hand, not so much. I am really glad, though, that for Ghost of Tsushima, that they kept the blocking really well timed. So you want to parry, it's that in Sekiro, definitely they did great on. So whenever you try and parry, you can actually pull it off as you time it right. And that was my only complaint when it came to Star Wars Fallen Order, that whenever I tried to parry, it just didn't sync too well. I was playing on hard, but even still, you could tell there was a real lack in doing that. Otherwise, it was a really good game. I also enjoyed the fact that there's a lot of customizable options, such as outfits, and the nod to other PlayStation franchises. My only dislike is the camera during combat, as it can get a bit lost while I'm getting jumped by tons of enemies and hard to maneuver. What I do like is for boss battles, it takes on a 1v1 fighting game system, where it's swords only. But if you're looking for a game with things to do, really good adventure, check out Ghost of Tsushima, and thank you for clicking our content. We will see you guys later.